want to talk today a little bit about Defender threat analytics. Kind of part of a whole this complete breakfast thing going on in the Defender portal. I've talked a lot in the past about exposure management, which really is basically just operationalized risk management aligned to Defender workloads and intra capabilities and all that kind of fun stuff. But if you go out of the exposure management pane in the Defender portal, go down just a little bit, you get this whole threat intelligence pane. Threat analytics is a big part of it, and I spent a lot of time recently talking about and presenting on this capability. This has actually existed since at least 2019, and I know that specifically because that was the first time I ever had to rely on it. So I've told this story many times. If you heard it, welcome back. I was at a conference. A customer called me up and said, hey, there's a new 0 day. We want to take money that we've allocated toward a project, and we want to go see if we have any specific risks for this new 0 day, right? Help us chase it. So I open up Defender and I'm looking at what's available to me, and I find this threat analytics engine. Now at the time, again, 2019, really didn't have a whole lot in there. It had a description of the threat profile and sort of a analyst report, right? It would tell you what the attack kill chain looked like for this attack, for this threat. And at the time, it had actually just been posted. So in looking through the list of all of the components of the attack kill chain for this threat, and to get down to the bottom of it, it was a JScript RCE released in October 2019. And if you remember it, in order to detonate the WPAD payload, the machine had to be running Windows 10 1803 or older. So I'm on the phone, again, noisy conference, trying to figure out how I can help quickly. And I'm like, hey, so what version of Windows do you have deployed? And they said, oh, we just completed a global deployment of 1809. I'm like, hey, cool, right? There's some command and control things you might need to worry about, but the actual payload doesn't detonate. You're not at risk for this particular attack. Now that was, again, 7 years ago, right? It's grown a lot since then. Now, when I go into threat analytics, I don't just get the analyst report, I get whether or not there are risks right now to me. I'll get information that surfaces, again, from SecureScore about how my defenses are aligned to that particular threat, about whether or not I have assets that are under attack, if there's an active campaign against me right now. And those assets will report across users, mailboxes, devices, apps, and now as of 2026 with the integration of Defender for cloud resources. And then when I actually go in and look at what are the things I need to do to improve my mitigations, I'm going to get a separation of whether or not it's a configuration change to push through Intune, or a patch to push, or whatever it may be. So I get all this rich data that, again, just like I've been talking about with exposure management, means that I don't have to go through and do a whole bunch of querying and hunting. I hear about a new risk, I check on the portal, I find the risk, I see what do I need to do, do I need to worry about this right now? I make those changes, and I'm off to the races. Threat analytics, check it out. We'll talk some more later on about threat profiles and threat actors and how they all tie into it, but super cool stuff. And I just want to point out too, again, I've been doing these demos talking about the kind of the bolt-on stuff to the Defender suite, right? Not even talking about the specific workloads. Defender for Cloud has been in my crosshairs a lot lately, but these all exist above that, right? These are all signal correlation across those workloads, across your digital estate, just like exposure management.